We're live.
Yeah, we're live. We are. What is shaking? It is Mark Cordone, episode 07 of the Golden Mike Live. I am so stoked that we have our guest, Ritu Goswamy, Esquire, and author of the new best-selling book, The New Billable Hour. I can't wait to talk to you about some of the concepts in your book, because it's not just for lawyers. We were just talking about this right before. Ritu has spent a lot of time figuring out how we all can save time. Would you say that a productivity consultant is
for sure being more productive? Yes.
Yeah. So for those of you who haven't met me, my name is Mark Cordone, positive psychology coach, assist people in terms of optimal functioning and optimal feeling, like feeling great and doing the best you can. Ritu, are you feeling great today?
Yes, I am.
Oh, that's awesome. Are you functioning?
Are you?
I'm feeling great. Are you functioning at an optimal level today?
I am.
Nice.
That's all relative,
Nice.
Of course.
It is all relative. Now, I just want to give a shout out. If you're out there feeling great and functioning on an optimal level, give me a big old heart. Give me a big old heart if you're feeling that. If it's not one of the best days, but you're feeling like you're getting through it, give me a thumbs up. Okay? And if you feel like you got hope, make a wow face, right? Because it sounds like you're saying hope. Oh, give us a wow. I'm coming to you down here in the South. Ritu, you're over there on the West Coast. What's going on over there?
I am. I was looking at Facebook. I was like, I want to play. I am in California. Mm-hmm. I'm in northern, kind of central coast, near Santa Cruz. I live in the mountains. In the Santa Cruz Mountains right now. I don't know if you're familiar. Yeah. It's a gorgeous day today. So I live in the mountains, so the weather changes. So when I woke up, it was really cold, like in the 30s. Well, that's cold for us. And and then just a few hours later, it's like 50s, 60s. It's like sunny and warm, and it's kind of,
Right on.
Very variable.
Yeah, so let us know where y'all are coming in from. We've had some folks logging in from Canada, from New York, from the South, from other countries. Where are you guys tuning in from? Whether it be the live show or the read broadcast of it, let us know what's up. Mm-hmm. So Ritu, you got some cool stuff. I do want y'all to stick around, because Ritu has the coolest thing that she's going to offer us at the end of the show. So just stick around, because it's really, really cool. I don't think we've ever had this happen on the show yet. But I just wanted to ask you, what's your story, Ritu?
My story?
Yeah.
Good question. Look at that, open-ended.
Yeah.
So my story is, well, I'm a lawyer. Mm-hmm. And I love, what's your tagline? I was trying to remember it this morning, like misfits, something.
Oh yeah, close to it. Yeah, misfits, Mavericks, and like iconoclasts, right?
Exactly. So I felt like that because I went into law to help people heal, people in conflict, and help them get through conflict, give people a voice, help empower people. That's why I went to law school, and so my story is that it was kind of a rude awakening, and entering the legal world was from the beginning. I mean, from law school and onward, I was just noticing that we had a problem. I mean, there were a lot of people going into this profession wanting to do great things, but kind of being I don't know how to, like chewed up and spit out. And then we have like what people think of lawyers now. So I'm like, I'm happy you're talking to me. What happens is it's like, oh, you're a lawyer. And it's like this like stigma for the rest of your life. And then people like leave law. So then as I was practicing, so I was going to say, I just became a misfit I'm still going to stay in this profession. I just decided I was going to live at the margins and do what I was going to do. But I noticed that when I would meet cool people that also were doing that, they were burning out and they were leaving the profession, right? And doing other things, which is fine, which is super fine. But I'm worried about that. And so being a lawyer for 18 years, I've decided I want to get more into the legal profession and help lawyers who are practicing and stay and stay in the profession to be helping. And because the thing is, I like that comment, yuck lawyers. It's exactly it. We need to change that. We need to change that because the day will come when one of you listening right now will need a lawyer, and where are you going to start? And wouldn't it be great to have an awesome, healthy, balanced lawyer who is there to look out for you and help you through your conflict, as opposed to this mess that we're in?
It would be great. Now let's talk about Ritu. When you were going to law school, would you say that you already had sort of the awesomeness, the healthiness, the balance going into it?
Good question. Yeah.
Okay.
No. Well, let me think. All right. It's not a yes or no. I have to explain. So I was young. Okay. It's a long time ago. And I think I'm still young. We're still young. We already discussed that.
We're still young. Yeah.
I was younger. And I think when we're younger, we don't know what we don't know, right? So I was always interested in being healthy and balanced. And but I think the wellness and the deeper stuff came from overdoing it, from trying to conform to a system that does not value it. So I would say, yeah, I think I was more of a regular person trying to figure out how to be an activist, and struggled a little.
So talk to us a little bit about the struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
sure.
Ritu going through the struggle. What were the things you were thinking about? What were the things you were feeling? What were some of the things that were going on with your, with your energy and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. So I wrote a little bit about this in the book. I can talk about it now. Like, I law school was tough because it was just really intense and competitive, as everyone's heard. And it really is set up to be that way. It's set up as like this hazing process, like that you go through and that to wear you down. And I went to, I'll shout out to my law school. I went to a upper echelon law school. I don't know how that happened, but but if you go to and so they want to keep you there. But a lot of people who go to law school, you just go to a regular law school, they're hoping for attrition. Right. So that's the environment. It's not about being successful. It's about, can you make it, and everything, the whole setup. And there are tons of books on this and tons of this is common knowledge that law school was set up for men and just kind of just like competitive and survival of the fittest. So there's that. So there's little me. I was literally little and just like, wait a minute. I just want to learn stuff and help people. Why is everyone so worked up, and then trying to fit in. So this is why I'm so excited to talk with you. That trying to fit in is what wore me down, right? Because it's okay, this is what I have to do. And then you talk to everyone, you talk to your mentors. It's well, it's a means to an end. And I don't know a lot about your background, but right, where we're just told that's the traditional thing, just do what you need to do to get through this, and then you can do whatever you want. But that time really it's not really true. It's not really true. And I hope because people are still going to law school and still are having high hopes that, I hope law schools are changing this and really, being more of a collaborative model, and that we can do our best and be our best, right? Instead of survival, which is not going to help the personal evolution of the planet, right?
Sure. And I mean, I think about just how some systems are set up in general. You could it's some sort of cartoon or in the movies, where someone shows up on the first day of college and they go, look to your left, look to your right. Some people won't be here at the end of the semester, but in many ways, those ideas are still reified, and especially in law school, what I'm hearing, it's still going on. Okay, so I want to hear this, and this is why I didn't want to talk as much before, because I want to get to know you now.
Yeah, let's do it, and with everyone watching, let's do it.
Yeah. So what was it? What was this now like? You came in with a pocket full of hopes and aspirations, and maybe a little bit of an idealist mindset that I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna change things. Yeah. Right. And then you're seeing some of your friends that were going through this with you, and maybe they're burning out, or maybe they're like, no, I'm not suited for this. And then the third thing that I'm hearing you say is you're sort of either being told or you're being given a template for what success should look like, and you need to stick to that template.
Exactly.
So what kind of decisions are you making now? Because you're now Ritu Esquire, so you obviously made it through the other side. What did you end up playing the game?
So I think this is a little different, and I've talked to other people about this, that I don't feel like I ever did. I refused, but there's a lot of suffering in that, right? When you like refuse to, because there's comfort in being like everyone else. So no, I like I said, I stayed at the margins. I was like, okay, then I'm going to be a social activist lawyer. We called it, I think it's still called that, public interest. So it doesn't have a name. Okay. So there is a label for it, for the weirdos. So yeah, you'll relate to this. So in law school, the weirdos are the public interest folks. And
me, the weirdo, relate to this. I picked up on that.
you're misfits, whatever's, right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying it in the most empowering way, right? So
I know.
So you got me. So I found my people, the few of us, and I stuck with it. And so we had a club. We had like the public interest law club. We would do volunteer stuff. We'd have conferences. And so I kept on the fringes that way, and then still did law school. Looking back now as my older self, though, I think I could have paid more attention in school.
Okay.
Don't we all have that regret, though?
Yeah.
Right? Because like I remember one of my first jobs, like I was like, oh, we did that in law school. I should have paid attention. Like it applies to my like social activist life. Like, when I was representing a client, I'm like, oh, that was relevant. At the time, it didn't seem relevant. But honestly, it doesn't matter. Also, I have to say, 20 years later, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I think I kept with the social activism, kept on the fringes, found my people, made a career out of it. So the first half of my career was in nonprofits doing social activist work, public interest law. So I worked for nonprofit law firms, so helping the masses. And it's insane though how little money we made, which I didn't know any different. Because that's another thing. It's like you're a lawyer and you make a lot of money, and it doesn't matter. But the disparity was very interesting. Yeah. And I think it leads to I don't know in your coaching if you do money stuff. I'm dealing with my money stuff now, and it started back then. It's like, well, I'm on the fringes, so I guess this is how much money I'm going to make for the rest of my life. And and as you know, the work we're doing with our coach, we're like, wait a minute, we're doing amazing work that is so important. It's actually more valuable, like the kind of work I did and the jobs I got were super competitive. Like to be a public interest lawyer, it's not like just some lawyer off the street. I created a career out of it, right? Like in law school, I had a trajectory, like this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to help people. I was taking internships. I was like developing my career. But then it's like the jobs were competitive, but it's like, here you go. It's like, whatever. The money doesn't,
Well, I think that mindset is really interesting, and it's something that permeates to a lot of folks who will oftentimes see their work as more than work, as more than career, and it starts going into calling. So I do remember doing quite a bit of social justice work when I was in my 20s a few years ago, right? And I remember a big thing was I was sitting there saying, I absolutely love doing social justice work, but I can't make a dime off of it. And if I ever did, I'd be like this big time sellout, because here I am working with certain communities.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those haves. I'm one of those privileged, and I couldn't. It didn't make sense.
And exactly it.
And then there was a part. Some artists. I remember I ended up running away and joining a band for a while, right? And I remember, like, in order to be a true artist, man, we're not in it for the money, and then it's those top sellouts that end up making that money and stuff like that. What I do love about the conversation and the theme that I'm picking up about you, Ritu, is that, okay, there can be a mainstream, and then there can be sort of countercultures. Then there can be anti-cultures, like folks who leave totally, but then you kind of created your own hybrid life for you to make it through law school. You know, you had the public interest group, and then you had sort of that mainstream do it our way status quo type of thing. So yeah, I think that's super. I think that's super awesome of you. And yeah, the things that we think about when we're in our teens and are in bands, or the things we think about when we're in law school, that seeps up to us when we're in our early 30s. You know, and we're professionals and stuff. Give us a thumbs up if you're feeling this. I'm totally feeling it, Ritu, and give us a thumbs up if you've ever felt like you've had to go down sort of a mainstream, someone else's template, and have felt a little bit like a misfit or a miscreant in order to try to be successful. So yeah,
and kind of settling, right? We're talking about settling. Like, well, this is my little place in this little corner, so I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to let everyone else do what they need to do.
Completely
stepping up and looking at it now, and I'm just thinking we have to change that, right? We need people to step into their power. It's not being in your power. Okay. Looking back, I would tell my younger self, that's not being in your power.
So in thinking about what you're saying right now, I'm guessing some of this went into the book.
Yeah.
Okay. So the book is called The New Billable Hour.
Can I show it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if it's going to come like straight or opposite, but we'll see. Here.
Oh, touch it, love it.
Oh, it's my book. So I launched 2 weeks ago.
It's like Mother Goose's fairy tales next to you. It's a gigantic looking book.
I think it does feel really big.
When we get it, will we get the book that large?
Exactly, yeah.
Right on. I need to go and read that.
It's a bedtime story. Yeah.
It's totally.
One thing I wanted to say, can I jump in before I forget, or I can write a note to myself, is that we're going to keep going with my story, and the book is my story, but also about my colleagues and my now clients, right? And I'm literally connecting with people I went to law school with through the book, which is really cool. But what happens is people entered law school like I did, but they didn't want to be a misfit, and they didn't want to settle. And so they did go the mainstream route. And now they're like 10 years in, they have a fine career, making money, work all the time, but they're like, oh my God, what did I do? Yep. And it's not that they dislike it and they have like a fine job, but that's who the book is for. It's for everybody, but that's who I'm writing to when I wrote the book. That person who's just like, I had all these dreams and aspirations, but then I did what I needed to do to be successful, and I am successful. But oh my God, I'm having health issues. I'm stressed out. I'm working all the time. My personal life isn't what I want it to be. I don't have balance. So that's who I'm addressing. Yeah.
At what cost is that ostensible success? Right. I told you I read your book.
You're like, I'm like, I think he's read it.
we got on the call and she was like, oh, this is gonna be really cool because I can figure out whether you read the book or not. And I was like, oh, thank goodness I had a flight yesterday and checked out.
And it's nice and short though too. I won't waste your time with it.
Nope, because you figured out how to be a productivity expert, right? Exactly. How awesome would it be for the productivity expert to have this gigantic book with like 8,000 pages? No, it's to the point.
That exists. That exists if you want to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, our book coach. Well, so that's how I figured out the whole productivity thing. She's like, oh yeah, so the stuff out there's too much. Like, you have to do all these things when you look at productivity experts, especially just productivity experts. There's like books and things and checklists and systems and all this stuff. And she's like, you're going to be the anti all that, just cut to the, what do we need to do?
Let's go here. I'm just curious about the title of the book, The New Billable Hour. So what was wrong with the old billable hour?
Oh, good question. It's cool we're doing this live. Actually, today went live my first podcast. This is a really big day. So went live my first podcast that I recorded last week. And it's from an attorney was interviewing me, and the same thing. He's like, we need to talk about the old billable hour. Like, we need to talk about that. And then I'm like, but is it really old? He's like, yes, it's old.
Okay.
And then I was like, really? I don't want to offend anyone. So I already did on the podcast, so we're doing it here. I I want to change the legal system. I'm creating a movement to change the legal system. And the billable hour system needs to go. So it's old. I've just decided. Of course, there are other people that need to get on board with this. But I've decided. No more standing back. I'm in my power now, right? We're talking. No more like being on the margins. This is what I'm saying. So the old billable hour. So everyone who's watching, don't worry about this term. People usually like tune out. Oh, billable hours, that's like lawyer stuff. It's quite simple. Whatever, if you're a therapist, if you're any service professional, right? You serve other people with your time. You're not product based. You're service based. Your time is valuable, and you understand what a billable hour is. Billable hours is time working for a client. That's what it is. Right? Oh, and if you, yes, and you're billing, when I wrote my book, another colleague who like bills, she's a therapist and she bills to insurance companies, right? So you bill, you has to be billable time. It can't be like, oh, I was looking out the window or I was whatever.
Sure, absolutely.
It's time that you're actually doing work. And so that is the old billable hour is your other people's time is more important than your own. Honestly, and you have a billable requirement. I'm shocked about this because remember I was on the margin, so I have to fess up. I've never jumped on that bandwagon. But you get a job where they offer you this awesome salary, but there's a billable hour requirement. So it'll be by a year. In a year, you bill like at least 2,000 hours. So I've done the math for you in the book. Like 2,000. So that's like, let's say you take 2 weeks off, which nobody does, but let's say you do. So 50 weeks, I figured out somehow it was 8 hours a day, which doesn't sound bad at all, right? An 8-hour day, Monday through Friday. But that's billable. So just, imagine all the other stuff we have to do.
Yep.
like business development. If you work for a firm, you got to go to meetings. You're an employee. If you work for yourself, you have to do all your marketing and And there's, I have this in the book, this joke. A colleague from law school told me like, well, there's so many things I have to do that are not billable who like worked for a firm for a summer job. And he's like, it's crazy. Like summer interns had billable hour requirements. Like,
Oh, no crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they got paid, but they had billable hour requirements, whatever they were. But I was like, but there's so much stuff that we have to do that's not billable, like billing.
Yeah.
And loved it. Like literally the time you're sitting to bill your clients and sending out bills and whatever the lawyer or the law clerk does is not billable. So it's kind of like stressful. So that's the old billable hour. You're stressing out, you're working, right? Because you have to produce these hours. And then also the old billable hour, these are the shocking stuff that's in my book. People undervalue themselves because we're humans, right? And grew up with this conditioning. And so people are under billing because it's like, oh, my boss is going to think I spent too much time on this case, so I'm going to not bill. I'm going to say for myself, I work with immigrants, and often I'm like, oh, I don't want to bill them so many hours because they can't afford it, or I think you can relate as coaches and therapists and people, everybody. If you do some service, right, you're not really valuing your time. So that's the old billable hour. Is that enough? Can we talk about the new one?
Yes. Let's talk about
so also the billable hour, both old and new, are broken up for lawyers are broken up into 0.1 6-minute increments. And so that's the big joke. Like you have to track your time in 6 minutes. So It's like literally, it's like, it's nuts. So you're going to go nuts, right? You can't be like, oh, I worked an hour on this, 5 hours on that. It's like, you got to go point 1, phone call to client. Point 2, researched this law. Like point 3, it's like that, right? So we think like that. So it's nuts. So you're kind of obsessed with time and these small increments and stressed out and right. The new billable hour is that we bill ourselves 1 hour per day. Anyone can do this. You don't have to be a lawyer. It's free. You don't have to go to law school. So you bill yourself 1 hour. So you make yourself your primary client. I love this. I don't know where it came to me in my book writing because I don't know. In all the book steps, I was like, wait a minute, we just have to bill ourselves. Like that's what's missing. So you bill yourself, right? So if you're your own client, if we just imagine, Mark, like if we gave to ourselves just a little bit of what we give to our clients, right?
Yeah.
And that's the idea, like making yourself. So people talk about self-care, and I try not to use that word because I don't even know what it means anymore. It's kind of like blown up, right? It means something different to so many people, and it's become like a bad word, or like people feel bad when they hear it, like, oh, I don't do that, so I'm bad. But basically, it's about personal accountability, valuing yourself, about being your best self to bring to your clients in your work. And we know this. We've heard this said in a lot of different ways. So I'm just saying it in a different way. But that's it. Building yourself. So that's the new billable hour.
And I'm so happy that you coupled the billable hour with self-care, because this is just me speaking in an I statement, but after having worked in health for a while, and hearing or going to a few self-care strategies, usually self-care is that I need to take a mental day and stay in the in the bathtub because I'm completely close to frying and burning out. And so it's not even self-care. It's like stopping from like the complete and total blow up. The self-care I heard you talking about in the book is, number one, this idea of maintenance and self-focus, but then growth that comes up from like the billable hour.
You did read it. You did read it.
I want my freaking autographed copy.
And what you're saying, can I read it? We're saying like getting away from reactive to intentional.
Yes.
So people think of self-care as like, oh, I need a self-care. I need to go to the spa. I'm like, it's too late. We need to do something every day to maintain, exactly, you said maintenance, but prevention and intention. And all the great speakers are talking about this. Again, this is the ancient wisdom, right? Yep. But it really affects your day-to-day and your productivity, and it doesn't take that much time. Remember, that was the whole point of we talked about in our other live, the superpower, that I've spent a lot of time figuring out how you don't have to spend that much time. And I think that's what it is for lawyers and for everyone. It's like, oh, okay, self-care is a reactive, like restorative, like recovery time, right? Or like a sick day. I'm going to wait till I get sick and then take a day off.
I love it. I love it. So this is what I want everybody who's watching to do right now, whether it be the replay, whether it be whether you're watching this live. I'm going to type along with you. Okay. I've got my notebook.
Okay.
And so what I want you to do you like the show?
Yeah, I like the show. I love your tech. I think I want to do this. Yeah. Inspired me.
Will you have me as a guest?
Yeah, of course.
So what we're going to do is, if you could tell us what the breakdown of a new billable hour looks like, maybe we can set the intention that we can start to put it all in our schedules. Yeah. And so lawyers out there, you can't be billed you can bill this to your company, but you can definitely bill this on your own new billable hour for yourself.
You want to know my dream and my ulterior motive? I want to get law firms to actually count the new billable hour as a billable hour in their requirement. Like, do you understand?
Oh my God.
Yeah, how awesome would that be? Because we hear about corporate wellness, and it's like, we're going to talk about what's included in there. It's not a lot, and if they're going to increase their productivity, the billable hours are going to go up. My subtitle is "Bill More Hours, Be More Productive." Still have work-life balance. And I strongly feel this way. And the clients I have worked with directly, they see it. Like, they were super skeptical, of course.
Sure.
Like, what do you mean? Like, remember, I bill myself and then I will have more hours? Yes.
So if you are a lawyer, definitely take the pen out right now.
Yeah.
But I think anyone, whether you're a coach, a therapist, we got some derby players. Johnny B, you're out there. And definitely Marianne, Leanne.
Anyone who has has time, who feels like they don't have enough time.
So it sounds like it sounds like this hour would be something that we operationalize in our daily life from here on out, right? Yeah, okay, so walk us through the hour.
Okay. So first, there are a couple of rules.
Okay.
And if there are any lawyers watching, we'll post this on my stuff too. So lawyers will understand that it's funny for lawyers. Everyone else is gonna be like, I don't get it. One is no double billing, and I'm going to teach you all what that is, and you know what it is. It is what it sounds like. So double billing is why lawyers get a bad reputation. they'll bill 2 clients at the same time. Right? Shady, not legal, not okay. So I'm sure therapists have this double billing thing too, right? You can only bill one person at a time. Okay, so no double billing within the hour. And this is just, it's super fun because then it keeps you focused on what you're doing instead of like in your head, like what else could I be doing? Oh my God, I'm doing one thing. Can I do another thing at the same time? You know, it gets you out of multitasking, gets into monotasking, a new word I use, you know, into focusing on what you're doing. So no double billing. And then rule number 2, I don't remember if there are other rules in the book, but for this lesson, we're going to have 2. The other one is that if you don't bill your hour, it's okay. And then in the next day, you can start over. So there's no shaming, no time shaming, if that's a thing. I just made it up. This is not like the whole self-care shaming, right? Like, oh, I don't have time to, nice. I don't have time to go to the spa, or I don't have time to soak in the bath, so I'm not going to do anything at all, right? Like, I give up.
Yep.
You just start again the next day in little increments, 6-minute increments. All right, ready? Are we ready? We're going to do it? So those are the 2 rules. Everyone ready to play? I can't see
here we
people
go,
are commenting.
everybody.
You see all the comments. Okay, so the first one, lesson 1, 0.1 hours, so that's 6 minutes. Meditation. Oh my gosh, you already knew. Meditation. So, I mean, must I say more? So people think they have to meditate for a long time. I thought this. And I was remembering how I got into it. And if you talk to the great teachers and the great masters, you have to start out by a little bit. And we live in such a frenetic time right now that some is better than none, obviously. But also you just need a little bit. And the impact is not how much you meditate, it's how regularly. So I had one Zen teacher tell me, my background is in Zen. We didn't talk about that. We'll have to do another one of these. Zen Buddhist teachers, it's like a pot boiling. Think of a pot of water boiling. And then if you keep taking it off the stove and then put it back on to boil and keep taking it off. But if you have like a low, keep it on the low burner, it will stay at a boil. And so if you just meditate 6 minutes, 0.1 hours, I like how you're using my 0.1. But I want people to think about it, 6 minutes. And really, they can do 5 or 10. 6 is not a magic number. It's for fun. But the point is that small amount of time that I don't think anyone can say they don't have, right? For the results they're going to get. But done every day will have a cumulative impact. And again, if you miss, that's fine too. But just having that intention. And
now, before I throw out the second one, now when you're talking about the breakdown of the billable hour, do you suggest that we do this in the sequence that you have it in the book?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
I just did a call with. I talked to someone from law school, and he was on my book launch team, and he read the book and he started doing it out of order. he's like, that one was hard, so I skipped it. I'm like, that would be the one you need to do. So the order is really important, and it's a little wonky, but the order is important, and also how it's done. Maybe that was the third rule that I forgot to mention, is that you add on gradually. I'd say a week. So I say do lesson 1 for a week, and then when you do lesson 2, you add it on 3. So you're not doing an hour right away even, see? So the first week you're just meditating.
So actually, the first week of the billable hour is 0.1 hours of just meditation.
What do you think? Is that possible for people?
Huh?
You think it's possible?
I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to show you that I suck at No, I don't suck at meditation. I will practice more meditation, given the fact that I'm not overwhelmed now by thinking that I have to do like 40 minutes straight.
Right, exactly.
0.1 hours. It's not even a full 1. It's a 0.1.
Yeah, it's
I can
6
do that.
minutes. Yeah. So there are apps.
Yeah.
We have our friendly Silicon Valley people making apps. I suggest there's 3 that I would just, I have no affiliation with. No, I don't know any. I don't even use them myself. So they didn't exist when I learned. But for people who are learning, who are just like overwhelmed, and if you already have, it's fine. You don't have to. If people already have a technology addiction, use an app to help transition, right? Like, because it's like if someone's so like wired, and then I'm like, now sit quietly, they'll be like, no, it's just too hard, right? So it's a gateway. So Mindspace. Well, no, so not Mindspace. Headspace. Headspace is one app, and Calm.
Okay.
And then the third one, Insight Timer. So these are all apps. I don't know if there's free I don't know anything about them, but my clients like them, and I'm hearing good things. And they have tons and tons of people, tons of users, and they have different ways. Yeah, so you could start there.
Okay, so download it. 6 minutes. Build. Do that for the first week, and don't skip ahead. But after the first week, let's see, what do we got?
Okay. This is very revolutionary. It's nuts. Point 2, lunch break. So the lunch break is going extinct, Mark. We have a problem. We have a problem. And so my background, my wellness background is in Ayurveda. And I'm sure people know in many cultures, if you're a worldly person, which I'm sure anyone watching this is, that most cultures, lunch is their main meal, and they take hours to have a nice lunch. And what do we do in the US? Nothing. Or like have a soda or something, or a smoothie, or and while running around. Or people will eat while they're working. I'm saying it. I've done it too, right? Like literally at the computer, crumbs on the keyboard, right? That's spilling their coffee in the literally. And then it takes a long time. And so people stop taking lunch breaks again because they thought people think they need to take all of us think we need an hour, right? It's like, and I swear I was writing the book and I was talking to an attorney and I was like, yeah, lunch breaks. Like, I just don't have an hour. If I take an hour break, then I get home an hour later and I want to be with my kids, and, very valid arguments.
Yeah.
I have my own arguments, but I was like, no, point 2. And I just discovered this. So point 2 is 12 minutes. It's 12, less than 15. And really, like 10 is probably enough, but we want to chew. But what the idea is that it's a break. It's an actual break where you're sitting and eating food. And I have a lot. I can go offline about. I have a lot to say about food, but in the New Bible Hour, I don't go into it. Eat food, because people are going from no food or eating distractedly. Eat food for 10 to 15 minutes and just focus on your eating. That's as long as it takes, and it will change your life, change your afternoon. Because what happens is people work through their lunch, feel hungry but ignore it, so the body's like goes into like emergency mode and adrenaline pumping and whatever, because it's got to do what it's got to do. It's got to get you through the day. And then around 3 or 4, can I ask? You're doing all these polls. Can I ask the listeners, like, who feels a slump and needs a coffee, like 3 or 4?
Yeah,
and that is anybody related to your lunch.
Yeah, anyone feel that slump?
Afternoon slump?
Give a thumbs up if you that. I definitely feel that some days. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's normal because our body it was like that adrenaline rush to get through the time, and then it's like tired, and then people go to the sugar, the caffeine. Also then overeat at dinner, and then there are weight problems and energy problems and inflammation, because we shouldn't eat too much at night because we're not active. People eat these big dinners. This is the culture, and then go to sleep. Haven't digested it, right? You're gonna get fat. Sorry.
And
we talk, like you're gonna get inflammation. The body can't do that.
And 12 minutes during lunch can be can move you from sort of being unintentional about what you're doing with work to being intentional, to being proactive about some of those things. So I'm hearing it's having a ripple effect. It's not just sit your butt down for like 12 minutes and look into the salad bowl. It really just is being there. And there also sounds like there's an emotional and psychological break that you take from work as well. And
digestion. So the digestive system, if we're working and stressed out and eating on the run, we can't digest our food properly. And that's why we have a lot of digestive problems, which have become normal, and bloating and heartburn. But if we sit and pay attention, the body needs to be relaxed, literally. You can't see I'm touching my belly. If the body is relaxed, you will be able to get the nutrition out of that food. You will be able to actually digest it, like actually take it into your body, Oh,
that's a good thing, because I think that's what food was created for.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's kind of healing. Yeah.
Yeah, right on. Okay, so we got a third one. What's going on with number 3?
Okay, so this is out of order, and my editor and book coach were like, "We need to change the order," but I didn't. I stuck with it. So the third one, it gets a little hard. So the first 2 are actually fun and doable, right? They're like, okay, you get to eat lunch and you get to meditate. Like those are fun. They're all fun, but the next 2 are a little deeper. So we're on 3. Morning routine. So that's point 2, 12 minutes of a morning routine. And it is out of order from lunch, but I do want you to get your lunch break happening before you do a morning routine, if that makes sense, right?
Interesting, yeah.
So implement that into your life first, because if you're not eating lunch, we can't go deeper. You just can't, you know, because things are going to get a little harder for you and you're tired. You didn't eat.
Gotcha.
So once you get the lunch going, it's like, okay, you know, I got that. Then we can do a morning routine. So these are the first 12 minutes when you wake up. Not reaching for technology. So before you take any outside stimulation, you have a morning routine, and it's super doable. You can like go to the bathroom, brush your teeth. You can do anything. You can make your own routine. And this is anyone. You can Google like Tim Ferriss, you know, the 4-hour work week. He's all about morning routine. This is all the productivity experts are talking about it. So it's not like I made it up, but I made up the time. So 12 minutes. Because it's 12 minutes again. Because people are like, I don't have, because I used to have a morning routine. I swear, Mark, I had a morning routine once that was like 5 hours. Because I wanted to get a full workout in. I wanted to go for a walk in the woods. I wanted to cook for the whole day. What else did I do? Meditate for like 40 minutes. Like, you know, you add it all up. I'm like, I've just been doing this for like 5 hours. Like, you know, dude, do all my chores. Yeah.
I mean, if that was a billable hour, you would totally be like retired by now.
Exactly. Right? If I got paid for all those hours, exactly.
What would be great if you had a 5-hour morning routine and then like a 5-hour sleep routine. So you like get up, then you have a 12-minute lunch, and then you get ready for bed.
Exactly. Got to get ready for bed. Yeah. So 12 minutes, the first 12 minutes, and before you check your email, because what happens is when we get on our phones, people have it's the first thing they do. They grab their phone when they open their eyes, right?
Yeah.
And then the day starts out chaotic and anxious, and so this is setting the tone for the day. So more in my book, but you could do like a little bit of exercise, do your morning hygiene. You can do meditation, but remember the rule: no double billing. So if you're going to meditate, then it's like 18 minutes.
Gotcha. So I wanted to throw this out there. Does this count as a morning routine? Because I just someone just recommended this to me, and I'm loving this. The first few minutes that I get up, I actually have these everywhere. So I keep a blank paper by my bed, and just I wake up and I just start writing in it.
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
And how long do you do it for?
Billably, I haven't thought about, but I mean, some mornings like I'll fill up pages, and other mornings like I think 2 days ago, it was the theme song from Cheers that just came out. So like it just depends, but maybe what I hear you saying is have a start stop for it when it comes to point 2, like 12 minutes. So at very least I'll do 12 minutes, or let's say I get into flow. Should I stop?
No. This is just this is minimum. Yeah. Okay, but I wanted to know: is this before you get off? Get on the phone or on the?
No, this thing is right next to the bed, and so I just pick it up, and I'm still.
You're not looking at your email. You're not looking at Facebook. No. You're not doing. Okay. No, and then what do you do after you journal? Then you get up and do all those
other things.
Yeah. Okay.
Morning things.
But I think lawyers don't like the word journal, and maybe other people don't either. But there's like morning pages, gratitude, writing is the best, especially if you have so much going on in your head. And I bet you come up with really creative ideas too.
Yes, ideas for speeches, ideas for chapters and stuff like that come up. Yes. So
do it for 12. I mean, and then if you need to like meditate or do it, if you're done, right, you're like, I don't really have much to say, then you just be quiet. Just be quiet with yourself.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Easy.
So other routines. We've got a morning one. Let's say
lesson 4. Do you want to do lesson 4?
Yeah, let's go to the next one.
I'm excited because we're over that was 30 minutes.
I know. Do you want
30? No, we're in the 30 minutes of the new billable hour. Also, we're fine.
Because everybody doesn't know that she's actually billing me right now. Like I have to swipe
billable.
my card at the end of she's billing me.
And I can only bill so many hours a day. I have a lot of self-care to do.
Right on.
So night routine. So similar, but this is like very important because so how I say is then the morning routine sets up your day, the night routine sets up your night, which means sleep. And what are we all struggling with, including me? Like I will always struggle. Smart people, I'm sure everybody listening is smart. Self-identified smart person. We need to turn off. We can't turn it off. We need to slow down our brains so we can sleep. And that's why we're not sleeping, because we're thinking. And actually the journaling you talked about is a good night routine too.
Okay.
So the night routine is the 12 minutes again. And I'm sure you've all heard an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours off technology before you go to sleep. And then people are like, why bother? So they do nothing. And then they like are on their phone in bed. It's like, I give up. I know I'm not supposed to be on my phone, but I am. Or then they'll
brutal.
Watch TV, so getting off screens. I call it technology. I don't know what the better word, but technology, the last 12 minutes of your day. Again, you can brush your teeth, go to the bathroom, take a bath. Like there's some billion things you could do. Play with your children, talk to your spouse. I mean, it's like people are like blown away. What am I going to do off technology for 12 minutes? And it's like
the world stops.
Yeah. You could read a book.
Whoa, now you're just talking crazy. Now you're just talking crazy talk here.
And then
for 0.2 hours, read a book.
Yeah, I know. 12 minutes. You can do spa stuff. I think I have that in my book. Like we always I don't have time for those spa, the stuff that we, you know what I'm talking about. The essential oils and the eye pillow and the restorative yoga pose. Like you could do one yoga pose for 12 minutes, but who's like, I don't have time to do that pose. You know what I'm talking. You do yoga?
I've done some yoga, yeah.
Okay. So there are these relaxed. So I'll say from me, from the high-powered, stressed-out person. Like, so there's something called restorative yoga, and it's really annoying because you have to hold a pose like for a long time, like a relaxing pose, and just like relax in it. And I actually I'm a yoga instructor also, and I learned how to teach this, and really it's true. That's it. You just relax. You don't do anything. But oh my God, like that's what we need. Just like relax, like lie down, do something with your body that's really, you guys know, just stretch out, you can do that.
And I do love how you have even more recommendations or examples and ideas in the book.
Yeah, because people were asking me.
Yeah.
I was running a beta. I'm like, a night routine, what's the problem? They're like, but we don't know what to do. We get off our phones, what do we do? I'm like, all the stuff that you've always wanted to do, right? Like, isn't this so far so fun? Like, it's nothing like you get to eat, meditate, all these things you always wanted to do. Like, spend time with humans.
Yeah.
Like you could put your children to bed. Like, children have like a night routine, and then you have like your night routine.
Well, you know what I think is interesting is that so many of these things, when it comes to the new billable hour, Ritu, your definition of self-care is that so many people are like, I gotta work now. I'll do all that stuff when I retire, but I gotta check the phone now. I gotta do this. I'll do the diary stuff, or I'll do the morning ritual when I retire.
Yeah.
But you can do 0.2 hours of night routine now.
Yeah. And and I'm reading Deepak Chopra has a new book with Rudolph Tanzi, and so you all know Deepak, but Rudolph Tanzi is the expert in Alzheimer's. And this has really been on my mind, so I think it's directly related to what you said. So what's happening, they're doing all this great brain science research about Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's doesn't just show up one day. It's 20 plus years in the making. Yeah. And so they're showing that meditate, like nutrition, everything we're talking about now, like getting good sleep, eating properly, all of that affects whether or not you're going to have Alzheimer's later.
Yep.
In that retirement that you're thinking about, you might have dementia because you didn't take care of yourself. Like, we're borrowing from the future. This is what I tell my clients. When you're doing, making these poor choices, you're borrowing from your future life. You know, your health, your quality of life, your clarity of focus, your brain. Like, I don't know why I'm so into this right now, but like Alzheimer's and dementia, I mean, it's you forget who you are. You're basically you're dying. It's like suicide. Like, your brain doesn't work. Like, is that where we want to be? So that hour that you were working at night and not sleeping, and over time is taking away from your future self, your retirement that everyone's imagining.
Yeah. And I'm so happy you brought that up, because I think I saw recently that they just reported out on a similar study that the cumulative effects of what we do now impacts the brain later on. And the only way to prevent something way down the line is to take care of yourself now. Yep. So, the new billable hour. Yeah.
And I think so. It's perfect, because people then read that study and it's like, oh, but that's great, but I don't have time. Then we, get back into that same cycle. I don't have time to take care of myself now. Myself.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just took 0.00001 to do my nighttime routine, just to show you how quick that can be. Yeah. Awesome. I just practiced it. Yeah, it was great.
Should we do the last two?
Yes, absolutely. Let's do the last two. Yeah. So we did the nighttime routine.
Because we could talk about sleep for a long time, and we can talk about Alzheimer's and brain science. Yeah, we could. I think that's my second book. Spoiler alert. It's more about brain stuff and lawyers and how to remain smart. We got to take care of ourselves. Oops.
Yeah. Did you all hear that? Spoiler alert.
See?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, if you guys are watching this long.
Little Easter egg there.
You want to know what I know, exactly. All right. So the last two lessons are like gifts. We've been working so hard for your first whatever minutes. I'm so bad at adding it up. Like 42 minutes. So this next one, movement. So this was the yoga lesson, but I decided maybe not everyone wants to do yoga. So moving your body. Again, I didn't make it up, right? It's not like, oh my God, no one told me I had to move, right? We all know we need to move, but again, I can't get to the gym. I don't have 5 hours to go to the gym, because that does take that long. Yeah. By the time you go and shower, whatever. Movement. So moving your body, going for a walk, doing whatever you love to do. Like, people have things they like to do, and they're just not doing them because they feel like they don't have the time. So making sure for 12 minutes you're doing some kind of movement, and ideally moving with your breath, like yoga. So connecting our breath with our movement. And that's basically connecting body and mind, and, getting this whole thing being out. Instead of being so in our heads and not in our bodies, it's getting back into our bodies. So whatever that means for people, 12 minutes. And it's nice to take a break too.
So just for clarification, by breath, do you mean, I don't know if this is the correct term, but like aerobic exercise? Or
no.
Do you mean something different by breath?
I do, because what happens also is, in lawyers, if people exercise, really high energy, high motivated people, they're like working out really hard, right? They're like being really aggressive, but it's more the yoga breath and not the power yoga. So moving with your body. So, inhale, do some kind of body movement, exhale. So I did a case study in my book about a runner. A lot of lawyers run. A lot of people run. I don't run. I don't like running. Yeah. But I'm going to talk about it as an authority, because I've talked to people who do it. I don't know why anyone would want to do this.
I'm taking a stand against. We're going to change the law profession, and we're going to stop running here today.
Why can't you just walk or hike? I don't understand the running. But people seem to love it, so I'll allow it. So, well, what's fascinating? So you can run if you pay attention to your footfalls with your breath. So that if you can imagine that. Do you run? I don't know. Or
no,
have run in your life?
I play roller derby.
Okay,
and my strides will often go with my breath.
There you go. Same thing. Yeah, same thing.
So I think there's a lot of things that, I think when I first started, it'd just be like, oh, totally aggro.
Yeah, exactly.
But then when you start calming down and you feel these moments of flow, is just
that's it. That's what I'm talking about. Exactly. So that can come from roller derby, can come from any sports people play, from running, biking, hiking.
Yeah.
And people have activities they love. And so what I suggest is that, so the 12 minutes, if people are like, well, I already work out for 2 hours, find 12 minutes in there. So for you, Mark, find 12 minutes in your roller derby to make sure you're focusing on your breath. You're laughing. It doesn't have to be your whole roller derby, because that's an aggressive, be you. But for 12 minutes, be like, I'm going to focus on my breath. I'm going to get into that. And that will change your life and your brain and your focus and everything.
Yes. So let's talk about this. We've got 6 minutes left in your billable hour. I'm curious, what is this last 6 minutes?
It's the best one.
Oh, okay.
It's the best one.
But don't do it first.
Don't do it first. It's the prize. It's the prize for working so hard.
Okay, here we go.
Here it is. Point 1, connecting with nature.
Yeah.
So we know this, right? We know about forest bathing. That's like coming from Japan, that being in nature, because we're so disconnected and I'm happy to be on technology right now with you all, but and it's helping us. Of course, it's bringing us together, but we know it's isolating us and bringing us, disconnecting us from our source. So whatever way you can connect, and again, people go, like, they think they need to take a vacation to connect with nature. Like, they think they need to, like, go to Bali. Like, that's how I'm going to connect to nature, and I'm going to spend a week, and it's wonderful. They feel great, connected, confident, and they come back and go back to work, right? And sit at a computer all day and not even have any nature. And I know people are in cities where they think it's not possible, but it is.
So let me throw it out there. So we've got people in New York. We had someone earlier say that she was just south of Boston. We got people here in Florida, Atlanta, Canada, East Coast, West Coast, wherever they are right now. What could they do in the next 30 minutes to connect with nature? Once they've worked some of the things that you've asked them to do, but then also when you're on a daily basis now, you've done your billable hour, you're in your office in downtown. Right. What can you do to connect with nature?
So ideally get outside, but I know there's like blizzards and stuff. I grew up in New York, so I know.
Okay. No, by get outside, you mean like
take your body out of your office and go outside.
Okay, because I was like, I had no idea there were lizards in like downtown New York, but I guess so. I didn't know if it was like super nature. Lizards? Yeah. I thought you said lizards.
Get outside.
Oh, okay. I hate when we fight. Ritu.
Let's make up right now. Let's make up.
Yeah.
We're made up. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get outside. So even if there's I said blizzard.
Oh, blizzards. Okay.
So I said I know that there are blizzards. I'm mumbling because we've been talking a while. I'm expiring in my own billable hour. But so I know there are blizzards, but if you can get outside, bundle up, get outside. I live in California. There's really no excuse. So if you can get outside, just walk around downtown, there are parks, look at a tree, look at the sky. So, okay, if you can't get outside, see if you can go to a window and look at the sky. It's amazing what it does for the soul. Like, it really puts everything in perspective, because we're so contracted in what we're doing, and we're so hyper-focused, it helps us expand. So look at the sky. There's just other little things you can, I'm allowing this for my clients who like really can't get up. Look at photos of nature. Hey, look at photos. Watch videos. There's let's use the internet for good and not evil, right? There's beautiful things. I suggest looking at photos and videos that you've taken yourself. You spend all that time and energy to go on this vacation to Bali, like, look at those photos. The photos you never looked at again. And then you will be transported back to that place. Your body's going to be like, oh, this is not all there is, like, I am connected to nature. Because we are part of nature. You know this, Mark, right? We are a part of nature. We are a piece of it, and we forget. It's just to remember. It's really to remember.
I'm so happy that you brought that up, because in psychology the term is called remembered wellness. And even if you've never been to a spot, like go to Bali, you can, if need be, you can bring up a picture of Bali, and just kind of look at it. And it can have that kind of connecting effect for you. So I'm glad that you brought that up. Let me see if I got this one right. Week 1, meditate for 0.1 hours. Second week, see if you can do 12 minutes for your lunch break. Week 3, see if you can do 12 minutes for a morning routine before you reach for that phone, before you disconnect from what's real and connect to maybe what's not as real. Stay connected for that additional 12 minutes. Next step, 12 hours of a night routine.
Not 12 hours, 12 minutes.
Oh, sorry, 12 minutes of a night routine.
Yes.
Sorry. And then the step after that is 12 minutes of movement with breath. Yes. And then finally, connecting with nature for 6 minutes. That's the prize. That's the prize at the end of all of this put together. I think you've said it. There's a preventative piece. There's a proactive piece. Now, you showed us the cover of the book, and you told we might be able to.
Oh, I know. I've been teasing you all with the book, because this is just because you've read the book. This is just, even though we did so much, this is just a little piece of it. Like, yes, there's a lot more. And again, it's for lawyers. So if you're a lawyer, you definitely need to read this. But everyone will enjoy it because you'll be able to relate. So the new billable hour, I am offering it because I'm so close to my launch, a free copy to you listeners. Just email me, and should they put in the subject line, put Golden Mike? Yeah,
put in the Golden Mike in the subject line. Yeah.
So I know it's you where you heard about me, and I will send you a free copy of the book. Yeah.
That is super, super funky fresh of you to do, given the fact that the book has already reached like international best-selling status.
It's not enough. It's not enough. We need more. We need more readers.
Yes, especially when you came out and you're like, we need to drop this. We need to change this sort of archetype of the way that we think about work and self-care. I would say pick this up for anyone who's interested in the way that you think about time, the way that you think about self-care. My sister is trying to call me right now, and she is in her office. She's a lawyer, and so I am going to back. Yeah, so I'm going to give this to her, and I think what's going to be hilarious is she'll be like, bill myself, but that's probably something you've heard from a lot of lawyers, right? Yeah. Please don't download this or email Ritu email her regardless of what your occupation is. I was thinking about how this might make me a better roller derby skater or parent or son or writer. I don't see a place where this would not intersect with at least me as a positive psychologist, feeling good and being productive.
Yeah, so the concepts are based on ancient wisdom of yoga and Ayurveda, which is the science of life. And I personally only work with lawyers, but the information is for everybody. And of course, you can be more basically, if it works for lawyers, it's going to work for you. I wanted to work with a hard population, but it is, you know what I mean?
Right on. So you've said enough, Ritu. I can't believe that was the first time we were on the phone, like ever talking with each other. I felt really connected with you. That was fun. Yeah. So you may not know this, but this is the reason why the show is called The Golden Mic.
I don't know.
Right? So I want you to imagine this. I want you to imagine that a golden mic is slowly descending from the roof of your roof, right? Okay. And it's in front of you right now. And that golden mic will translate into every language across the world. And you get to say whatever it is that you want for the next 2 minutes.
Oh my God.
After I flip the switch, which is right now.
Wow, thank you. I don't see the timer, but I'm going to trust you. Thank you for listening, everyone. Wow. My message to you is about time. We are in charge of our own time, and we are in charge of what we do with our time on this planet and beyond. And so if you even think a little bit that you don't have enough time to live your dreams and do what you want to do, it's time to change that thought and to really, really make time matter and make everything you do intentional and not reactive, and create the life you want to live and not always be reacting and responding and being defensive. Let's be more active, and let's be more intentional with our time. Thank you.
Ritu, you have said it all. Thank you for taking your time and making the time. And thank you for offering up the book. We're probably going to need to have another conversation because this was fun. Yeah. This was fun. Okay, be sure to share this out with lawyers, friends, family. And tomorrow we have Jane Anderson, who is a positive psychologist who focuses on strengths not only in individuals, but within organizations. How can we create true organizations like the law system, like law schools, that are functioning off of virtue and strengths, because they're espoused values, but are they necessarily practiced? Jane's going to bring that in tomorrow. But again, Ritu, thank you so much, and congratulations on your book, sister.
Thank you.
Everybody, that was the Golden Mic. We're done for today. See ya.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.